Welcome. This is going to be a really amazing evening. I just want to start by getting a show of hands of how many students are here, if I can see. Welcome. Thank you for taking the time from your busy schedule. And also, because this event is being recorded, I just want to start with some disclosures. This is obviously a very important conversation. I like to tee it up by saying, well, we may laugh, cry, and learn all in the same conversation, so that's a trifecta in my book. But we will be talking about sensitive topics. We may be using the words penis and vagina. Of course, I'm a gynecologist, so that's my day-to-day vocabulary. Obviously not for the people in this room, but for people who may be watching online, maybe some sensitive issues. So with that said, without further ado, I want to introduce these incredibly brilliant professors and authors of this book, which I hope you all get at the end of the evening. Jennifer Hirsch, Shamus Khan. I have so many questions for you, and you will have a chance to ask questions at the end of the evening, but I wanted to let you welcome everyone for this incredible event and just say a couple of words about yourself and this incredible project.
Hi, everyone. It's wonderful to see so many new faces and old faces here. I'm an anthropologist, and I'm a professor at Columbia.
And I'm a sociologist, and I'm a professor at Columbia. And
I went to Columbia, but I like Boston. I really, I'm liking it more and more every day.
I used to live in Andover. It's,
and you're so normal.
Yeah. And the project is a project based on an ethnographic portion of a research that we did with a large group of people. And by ethnographic, it means that we spent time interviewing more than 150 students. We spent a couple hours with them. For many of them, we actually did multiple rounds of follow-up interviews. We also had people enmeshed in campus life, so hanging out in fraternity and sorority basements, hanging out in religious spaces, in dorms, athletic buses, intramural athletic teams, just kind of all around campus life in order to give a portrait, sort of pull back the curtain on what life is like right now in college and what that can tell us about why sexual assault is so common.
Jen, why did you write the book? Tell us about how it was born.
So the book was born, the roots of the book go back to the fall of 2014. I was observing the national conversation around sexual assault on campus, and there was a lot of conversation. But it was missing some of the most important things. It was really focused on adjudication, sort of on he said, she said, and how those campus processes can be made more fair. Or there was a notion, and this was even before Brock Turner, of sort of the sociopathic predator. Like there are bad guys, it's a hunting ground, and we've got to find them and stop them. And I'm in public health, and in public health, if we do our job, you don't even know we're here. Right? Like we prevent things. And there was not really much focus on prevention. And I thought, we're not bringing our A game to this problem. If we understood where sexual assault came from, if we understood the social roots, we could change the environment. We could build campuses where everyone could thrive.
So this book really roped me in initially as a parent, but also as a gynecologist, as a women's health advocate. I have 2 children in college. Speak a little bit about the audience of parents that you hope will be reached by this book? And what do you want them to learn? Shamus, why don't you start?
So a lot of the book is about the silences that happen around sex within families and the consequences of that silence. So a lot of the young people that we spoke to told us stories of sex ed or sexual conversations with their parents where their parents handed them a book and said, read this, and if you have any questions, talk to me. And the tone of that was like, don't talk to me. And the idea of I don't want to talk about it, I don't want to talk about it, I don't want to talk about it, really, from our perspective, conveyed to young people that like sex wasn't something that you should talk about, and it was something that you should be ashamed of. And we found that had really big consequences for young people, because in moments where they're in a sexual interaction, if they're constantly told this isn't something you talk about, or they're not given words to speak about it, how do they express their wants and desires? How is it that they know that they have the right to say yes or the right to say no to sex? And so part of the idea of the book is to really sort of implore families, not just families, communities, legislatures, to actually open up this conversation so that young people can have a voice about their sexual wants and desires.